So there's a couple of different settings that you can do with a quiz. So let's take a look at that. We'll go into our week 1 folder. And we had 2 different quizzes that were in there. So I'll go into, like, let's say the overview quiz. All right, and this would be something to do from those settings. Uh, with the quiz itself, I've got where I was able to add the questions, which we talked about how to do that already. But then right here for this tab for settings, this is pretty important. Here's where you can put in some extra instructions if you want to. And in fact, you can also, within this part with the instructions, you can even use this little button right here which says Insert Content. That's where you can go in and you could put, like when I go from the web here, I could put in a link to a YouTube video, which is what I had done with the other quiz. So you can put in your instructions in there. This one right here, ding, 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 this is real important. This attempts part. The default when you create this is going to be disable attempts. What that means is that your students, while they can go and open up the quiz, they just can't take it. They can't even try it. So you've got to make sure that if you want the students to take the quiz, that you actually allow attempts, that you switch that one. Now once you allow the attempts, then you can do some other things like, do you want to set a time limit? Do you want to set up how many times they can try the quiz? Here I had it that you could try up to 20 times. I could say, hey, maybe you can only take it 3 times. And then once you take it, what score am I going to use? Your highest score, the last score you had, or like an average? The paging. This is an important one. If you select the default that it'll have will be using page breaks. So basically, it'll just put a whole bunch of questions on one page, and if it runs out of room, it'll go to a next one. I can change that and go to 1 question per page, which is real nice because then you can make sure that the students aren't distracted by other questions. So kind of depending on how you want that to be set. The question review. What that's going to do, if you have this set to yes, that means when students are done with the quiz, before they submit their answers and get feedback, they're going to have a page that kind of shows what was their answer to each question that they had before they go and submit it. Very similar to what happens at the end of like a CDT or online Keystone exam, where you have that like summary page before they go and submit their answers. Whether or not the quiz is resumable. So if you have that set to yes, that means students could start the quiz, and if they run out of time, they can go out of Schoology, they can go back in and continue where they were. If you have something that's short and you don't want to deal with that, then you could just change that to no, and they would have to finish the quiz during that session. And then as far as the viewing, you can set this up that students would not be able to see what they submitted. Like once they submit it to you, they don't know how well they did. Or you could say yes, that they get feedback. Or you pick yes with correct answers. So yes, they get the feedback, and they also get to find out if they got it wrong, what the correct answer was. The nice thing when you're working with these settings in here, anytime you're not sure what something means, when you click on it, look over there on the side and you will see a little explanation as to what that's supposed to be. The main one to make sure that you always fix, the attempts. If you want students to be able to take the quiz, make sure you change it to allow attempts.